Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. I'm Sam.
And I'm Taylor.
Today we're taking you somewhere special.
Yeah, I think stepping away from all this city noise, into a place where you can almost hear the wild calling.
Exactly. Like imagine hearing a tiger roar through these ancient forests. That's where we're heading in this deep dive.
It is. This deep dive is all about Ranthambore National Park. We're looking specifically at what a 2-day wildlife tour there is really like.
Right, we've got this detailed tour description, a kind of blueprint for an adventure in Ranthambore.
And we're going to unpack it, pull out those key insights, maybe some surprising bits that, really show what the experience feels like.
Our goal really is that by the end, you'll get a really clear sense of why Ranthambore is, well, genuinely one of the top spots globally for wildlife fans.
But it's more than just what you see, isn't it? We want to explore how these tours are put together, how they aim for maximum impact and why they stick with you.
Yeah, and what's fascinating right off the bat in the source material, it calls Ranthambore the heart of India's tiger country. That's quite a claim.
It really is.
It sets it up as more than just, seeing animals. It's pitched as this really raw wilderness experience. But then almost immediately it also says it's designed for comfort, which is interesting, that mix.
Yeah, it is interesting. So the journey starts, as the source describes it, leaving the pink-hued palaces of Jaipur, sounds lovely, and diving straight into the raw wilderness of Ranthambore National Park, and again, stressing it's one of the best places in the world to spot Bengal tigers in the wild. So about that duality, you mentioned raw wilderness, but also comfort. How does a tour actually manage that? What makes both possible?
That's a really good question, Sam. And I think it speaks to how these things are, well, engineered, maybe.
Okay.
The source points to a few things. It's not just saying, oh, it's comfy. You're staying in a forest lodge. So probably rustic vibes, but with, proper beds, bathrooms.
Yeah.
Not exactly roughing it.
Right. Not camping.
Definitely not camping. And then there are the meals, 3 meals included. That takes away a whole layer of hassle.
Sure does. Logistics.
Exactly. And even the transport of private car from Jaipur, that screams seamless. Easy.
So minimizing the stress so you can focus on the actual experience.
Precisely. It lets you just soak in the wild part.
Which starts, I guess, the minute you get into the safari vehicle. They mentioned 2 types, an open 6-seater gypsy or a bigger 20-seater canter.
Yeah, the gypsy is like a rugged little SUV, great for getting around the trails. The canter's larger, open truck style, higher up, good for bigger groups maybe.
And you enter the park and boom, the landscape just opens up. They describe it as dry, deciduous forest interspersed with lakes, grasslands, and rocky outcrops. You can almost picture it.
You can. And the anticipation, it must really build.
Totally. And the source says the real magic kicks off when your guide spots fresh pug marks on the trail. Tiger tracks.
Ah, yes, that's the moment, isn't it? When you know you're really in their territory.
So beyond the tigers, obviously the main draw, what else does the source say you should be looking out for?
Well, it goes into quite a bit of detail, actually. Of course, the Royal Bengal tigers are, number one, maybe stalking through the underbrush or lounging near a waterhole. That's the dream sighting. But it's not just tigers. The source makes a point of mentioning elusive and regal leopards draped over tree branches. Seeing a leopard is always special.
Definitely less common or harder to spot, usually.
Exactly. And then there's a whole range of other animals that show the park's, biodiversity.
Like what?
Okay, so you've got spotted deer, chital, they're called, very graceful. The big sambar deer, nilgai, which are these large antelopes, blue bulls,
Right.
playful langurs, the monkeys you see everywhere, crocodiles, obviously, in the lakes.
And crocs, too, okay.
And birds. Over 300 species. It even names a few. Crested serpent eagles, painted storks, and interestingly, the chance of seeing an owl in daylight.
Wow, an owl in the day. That's cool. It really paints a picture of a whole thriving ecosystem.
It absolutely does. It's much more than just a place to tick off tiger.
And the source emphasizes one part of the safari schedule that sounds, well, magical. The morning one.
Ah, the dawn safari, yes.
Waking up super early, heading back into the forest. But this time in that soft golden light of dawn, apparently that's when wildlife is most active.
Makes sense. Cooler, quieter.
And the early morning mist adds an air of mystery to the forest. Sounds incredible.
It really does. Very atmospheric.
A time for, quiet watching, seeing herds of deer grazing silently, crocodiles gliding through still lakes, monkeys chattering. Sounds almost peaceful. despite the potential predators lurking.
It does. And there's a key detail in there, something really interesting for anyone serious about wildlife or photography.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
The source mentions listening. It says, a sambar's alarm call might lead you straight to a tiger on the move.
Ah, okay. So, paying attention to the sounds of the jungle.
Exactly. It's not just a passive viewing experience. It highlights the skill of the guide, who, remember, is approved by the Forest Department in understanding the environment.
Right. Those calls mean something specific.
Precisely. A sambar call like that often signals danger nearby, like a tiger or leopard. Knowing that, hearing that, the guide can interpret it. It turns it from just driving around hoping into active tracking.
That makes a huge difference. It's that expertise that finds those really special moments.
Absolutely. It's that blend of nature and know-how.
Okay, so amazing wildlife, expert tracking. But there's another layer too, isn't there? The history. Ranthambore Fort.
Yes, the fort is a big part of the experience described. It's perched high above the forest.
So great views, I imagine.
Definitely. Sweeping views over the national park and surrounding hills is how the source puts it. But it's more than just a pretty viewpoint.
What else does it offer?
Well, it's a 10th century fort. Think about that. Over 1,000 years old. The source says you can actually wander through its ancient temples, massive stone gateways, and ruins. It mentions whispers of forgotten dynasties and jungle legends.
So you're literally walking through history.
You are. It's seen centuries of history, battles, royalty, and now nature is sort of reclaiming parts of it, which adds another dimension. It connects the wildlife experience directly to this deep human history.
That adds a whole other level of meaning to the place. It's not just nature, it's culture too.
Exactly. It provides context, a sense of deep time.
So putting it all together, for someone thinking about this trip, how does it work logistically? What are the nuts and bolts, according to the source?
Okay, practicalities. It's laid out as a 2 days, 1 night package. Pretty concise, fits easily into a larger trip maybe.
Right, manageable time frame.
And it seems quite inclusive. It lists pick and drop from Jaipur in a private car. That's handy.
Very. Takes the travel stress out.
Then you get both a morning and afternoon safari. Covers different times of day, maximizes chances.
Good entrance fees.
Yep. Entrance charges are included, and the stay, 1 night stay in hotel, presumably the forest lodge mentioned earlier, with all 3 meals.
All meals included, okay.
And it specifies accommodation is 2 people sharing a room or single for 1 person.
Mm-hmm.
So clear on that front too.
And you mentioned the guide again, naturalist approved by the Forest Department. That feels important for the quality of the safari.
Hugely important. It suggests expertise and hopefully responsible practices.
And speaking of responsible practices, the source mentions something about the local community.
It does, and this is significant. It highlights that the tour company is helping the local communities by training and employing local guides.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, it means money and skills stay local. These guides often have incredible knowledge passed down through generations. Plus, it says they're procuring their wares to strengthen their livelihood. So, buying local crafts or supplies.
That really changes the dynamic, doesn't it? It's not just extractive tourism.
Exactly. It raises that question for you, the traveler. How can your trip actively benefit the place you're visiting? Choosing a tour like this seems like one way to do it. It feels more like a partnership.
That's a really important point. Makes the trip feel more meaningful, maybe.
I think so. Oh, and quickly on cost, the source notes that the price varies depending on group size.
Yeah.
Different rates for 4 plus 6, 2 or 1 person. Standard practice.
Got it. So just to recap that schedule quickly. Day 1, 7:30 a.m. Jaipur pickup. Get to Ranthambore around 11:30 a.m. Lunch, check-in, then afternoon safari.
Right.
Day 2, early 6:00 a.m. morning safari, breakfast after, then about 11:00 a.m. visit the fort, and then head back, getting dropped in Jaipur around 5:00 p.m.
Sounds like a packed but well-structured couple of days. They fit a lot in.
They really do. So, quite a journey we've taken just talking about it. This deep dive into Ranthambore, it really shows that blend, doesn't it? The wildlife thrills, the history, and how it's all packaged together.
Yeah, seamless logistics meeting raw adventure. You can see why it's such a renowned spot for that authentic Indian wilderness feel.
Absolutely.
And, thinking about this whole experience, it does go beyond just a holiday, doesn't it? It kind of makes you pause and think. What do we actually learn about ourselves, about our connection to nature, when we step into a place like that? So ancient, so wild, so different from our everyday lives.
That's a deep thought. A chance to reconnect, maybe?
Perhaps. An invitation to see things differently.
Well, if this deep dive has inspired you, if you decide you want to travel to Ranthambore, we do have a recommendation based on our source. Five Senses Tours organizes wildlife tours across India.
That's the company highlighted in the source material.
Yep. You can email them at contact@fivesensestours.com. That's the numeral 5, SENSES tours.com. Or you can WhatsApp them at +919-845-67446.
Good information to have.
Definitely. Okay, that wraps up our deep dive into Ranthambore for today. Hope you found it as fascinating as we did.